Hey guys, this is Mark from Park Flores RC, and today we're going to take a look at the Tekno M6 Driveshaft Kit. It's item number TKR 1951X. It's $54.99. You can find it anywhere online. If you want to help us out, you use the link below and either buy from our website or an Amazon referral link. We really appreciate it. All right, so what's so special about this universal drive shaft? Well, there's a couple things. First of all, the machining and the tolerance of these drive shafts are second to none. You get really high quality ball bearings. The hubs on this are much nicer than the Traxxas ones. They kind of look like they even might be machined as opposed to like a rough mold. And the outdrive cups are absolutely beautiful. They are, not only are they hardened steel, but they're actually hollowed out and lightened up. Yeah, they're really beautiful and they really look great and they're super durable. On the rear bearing carriers for the car, it comes with 2 sets. And it allows you to play with the rear toe in and toe out. Most people will do negative toe in, and for my purposes, I'm going to do the minus 0.5 offset. Another cool thing that you can do with these bearing carriers is that they do have adjustment holes on top for roll center. For purposes of my driving, I'm going to use position number 1 right here. That's where I think most people will have a really good time driving. Just use position 1. And you'll have really good in-corner steering, really good traction, and the car seems to drive really, really well. So the other cool thing about this drive shaft is, unlike the plastic drive shafts from Traxxas or even the metal ones, they don't have intertwining halves. So that means there is no binding on this, and there's no possibility of binding, which means the suspension actually works a lot better. It's more free. And the car is able to drive a lot more with a lot more precision. It's more stable, and the shocks work more efficiently. That is a big deal. That is one of the main reasons why you buy a CVD, is that there is no binding in the rear of the car where the suspension is, and I find that to be a big difference. This Tekno kit, this Tekno drive shaft kit, I consider it state of the art, and it's one of the most significant upgrades you can do to your two-wheel drive Slash. And I love it. I've done it on a couple of cars for customers. Everybody says they notice a difference. The durability of this thing is incredible. You want to make sure to use thread lock when you put together the nut to retain the drive cup. This way it doesn't come back out over time. And then you want to make sure on the CVDs on the ends you want to put grease so that they'll have less friction and less wear and less heat buildup, which we're going to make them last a lot longer. One cool way to know if you have binding in your suspension, and that is disconnect the shock from one end. It doesn't have to be both, just one end is fine. You'll lift the wheel up with the A-arm, and if it drops down by itself, there's no binding. If it stays up, which my car was actually having, then you have binding. When you have binding, I noticed that the car does not drive the same. I didn't know I had binding. I didn't know why the car was off. And I decided to check the binding. I didn't really suspect it. And interestingly, the Traxxas Universal Steel Shaft was the part of the cause. I did remount all the connection points, so it definitely wasn't any of the points, but it ended up being the Traxxas Universal Shaft. And part of the reason is that this slides into, the female and the male have they slide into each other, and there's friction. When you have the Tekno, the upgraded Tekno Universal, there is none of that. It's just a straight axle, straight to the CVD joint. There's no binding at all, and that's why you have competition race cars. They don't have any type of universals that look like this. The plastic ones that come with the Traxxas cars are even worse and really, really bad. But just to let you know, when you get a Traxxas car, it doesn't matter if it's a Bandit, Rustler, Stampede, it doesn't matter what it is, you definitely want to check for binding on all 4 corners. I cannot stress how much it affects the car when there is binding. So just to go over it one more time, you disconnect the shock from one corner of the car, you lift up the wheel. If it drops down freely, that means there is no binding. If it stays up, which happens in a lot of cases, that means you have binding. And you have to go over all the joints. You have to either ream them out. They sell reamers. A-Main Hobbies has a reamer that you can use. You can use a drill bit, which I use. But A-Main has reamers, you can ream them out. You definitely want smooth action in all the arms and the hinge pins. And then the second thing is you definitely want to use a CVD rear axle. If you're using four-wheel drive, obviously you want to do front and back. But yeah, it makes a huge difference in handling. I could tell you firsthand, I was having major problems with the car, just not handling well. I couldn't figure it out. I was playing with spring weights and oils, and really it was getting frustrating. I had somebody that came with a stock Slash at the track, and his car was running better than mine, and it's a little embarrassing. So yeah, so we finally figured it out. Was the binding, and I was pretty surprised that it was, you know, happening from this drive shaft. Interesting little fun fact: the Traxxas steel outdrive gears, which retail for about $70, these weigh 1.5 ounces per side. So together, if you combine two of them, it's 3 ounces. The Tekno, one side is 0.8 ounces, which would make it combined 1.6 ounces, which is half the weight of the original Traxxas. That is a significant amount of reduction in rotational weight, and that is definitely going to add to the performance of the car. That wraps up the stage 2 of the SLASH VXL two-wheel drive. We hope you like the video. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Please also share the video with friends. Let's get the word out. Park Flyers RC is making videos to help the RC community so that you don't have to waste money on upgrades that you don't need. We talk about the ones that work, and we talk about the problems that, you know, people have with their cars. Hopefully you guys benefit a lot from watching these videos, and we'll see you on the next one.